If I had a nickel for every single Paramount logo jump scare in this movie, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird to happen twice. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel, and today I'll have 2 quick reviews for you. Later on I will have a review for The Mandalorian and Grogu, but first off we are reviewing Passenger, directed by André Øvredal, starring Llobell, Jacob Scipio, Joseph Lopez, Miles Fowler, and of course Melissa Leo. This movie follows a young nomad couple who encounter a highway accident caused by a demonic presence known as the Passenger that then latches onto them both. Of course I'll be getting to spoilers for Passenger, so if you haven't had a chance to watch it just yet and you're down to continue the trend of horror films this May to kick off the summer, check this one out, and for those who haven't, take this as a warning sign before moving ahead.
Give us your warning sign. If danger is near. Danger is near. Danger is near.
This year's been pretty solid with horror films between Obsession, 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, Send Help, and Hokum, so we were bound to get one that was a bit of a letdown. And that's not to say that there isn't some fun to be had with Passenger. I actually really like André Øvredal as a filmmaker. The Autopsy of Jane Doe is great, and I really dug his Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark movie. And what he does best with his films are these scares themselves, and this film is no different. If you saw the trailers for this film, they did heavily rely on what ends up being the opening scene for this movie. Something being out in the woods, taking one of the 2 friends before the other drives off to see some man standing on the side of the street. He drives further down and you see the same guy again and again until he appears in the passenger seats. It's a really great setup for a scare, and I do think that most of these scares in this film have that similar effect. 2 sequences in particular that I thought were very well staged were the scene outside of the 24-hour gym as the camera spins around Maddie as she walks to the van, with the sound of the passenger running up behind her, spinning her around only for her to see nothing except her progress towards her car had reset. Or the sequence in the woods as the couple watch an old movie with this demon very intensely interrupting their perfect date.
I thought we were having a nice day.
Love the Nightmare on Elm Street-esque scare as his face is pressed against the projector screen, and the use of the projector to light up their surroundings. Really fun stuff. But these scares themselves always do the obvious thing. Like, I'm not surprised when the demon appears in the passenger seats during the opening scene, or that he appears in the dash cam later on once Maddie finally gets into the van, or appears next to our lead characters as they use a projector to light up their surroundings with the face of the character within the film projecting onto the demon. But despite this, I still found the movie to be entertaining enough if solid jump scares are all you're looking to get. Øvredal knows how to stage a fun scare sequence, and he pulls them off fairly effectively. But the story here is just about exactly what you'd expect to see from this premise. Llobell and Jacob Scipio play Maddie and Tyler, the newly engaged and newly nomad couple who have been living in this van for about 6 weeks. Tyler is much more invested in living life on the road, where Maddie is very much the opposite, which brings questions of why they ever thought they would be a good fit, considering one of them have always wanted to live on the move and the other has always wanted to find a stable and consistent home. But let's not question how they got into this scenario in the first place. But when they do stop to see the well-being of the driver from the opening scene, this demon attaches itself upon our main characters, leading to the classic boyfriend slash fiance not believing in the main character's ghostly experiences trope as we get scare sequence after scare sequence from this point on. And to tick off some more horror cliches, you do of course get the main character researches or Googles their haunting experiences scene as Maddie discovers the hobo code, which explains the 3 slashes symbol they find on their van that matches the one on the original driver's car. And honestly wish we got to see more use of these symbols outside of the warning sign and the go this way sign. It would have been so cool to see a couple of these symbols throughout the film, so we get to go back in hindsight and discover all these little signs that they missed as they go down the wrong road that they aren't supposed to, or they unintentionally ignore the safe routes that was presented in front of them. And I honestly think that could have added a lot to the lore of this demon and its relationship with the nomads that live in this area, because as it stands, the lore behind this demon doesn't really go any further than the nomads knowing of the existence of this demon and avoiding being one of the many accidents seen on the Quiet Mountain roads by knowing the hobo code. The movie also of course has the resident nomad experts, and the person that's going to guide the main characters to safety in Melissa Leo's Diana, who goes out in a laughably quick manner. She finally decides to help our main characters and lasts about 2 minutes before the entity just takes her out, when it's taken days for this entity to get close to Maddie and Tyler. But hey, Diana did say that the passenger was enjoying messing with them at this point, so at least that's sort of a reason why they weren't killed earlier. The film's climax all surrounds Maddie and Tyler trying to reach the church where Diana said someone had survived once before. The flat tire sequence on the way was another pretty fun set piece, although Tyler fully did ditch Maddie without even really looking for her after she is thrown into the air by the passenger. Still a better boyfriend than Bear from Obsession, but that is a very low bar. But of course this doesn't matter because he eventually does run into her, or almost runs into her again, and they just hug it out and move on towards the church. So when they finally do reach it, the mere presence presence of the holy ground or the various religious artifacts and statues that they see here are more than enough to take out this demon for good. Maddie also takes some fun inspiration from Baby Driver to finish him off, so that was also a fun moment too, I guess, along with all the hilarious zooms on the Jesus statue. Very, very funny. Unintentionally so, but very funny. Honestly, this movie did really lose its steam the longer it went, which is a bummer because I think it could have made a really killer short film, or maybe it is based on a short film. I'm honestly not sure because the trailer honestly kind of plays like one, but I think overall it is a bit of a bummer considering that I've mostly enjoyed André Øvredal's other films in the past, but when compared to the worst horror movies you'd get about 10 years ago, like The Boy or The Forest or The Bye Bye Man, this movie is honestly perfectly fine. The problem is the horror genre has matured and evolved so much over the years, where with movies like this that does its job with its scares is just simply not enough. But those are just going to be my quick thoughts on Passenger. Were you along for the ride for this movie, or are you taking the back seat for this one? Let me know in the comment section down below, and as always, if you did enjoy this review, make sure to leave it a like, and subscribe to the channel to see more reviews just like this. Like I said, I'll have my review up for The Mandalorian Grogu very shortly, but until then, check out my other horror movie reviews here on the channel from the last few weeks, including Obsession, which remains my favorite horror film so far this year. So thanks everyone for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next one.